Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of JFC Hollywood and Friends. And so Edo, you're gonna be a friend soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
let's.
Are you happy? Are
well,
you sad?
I can't wait for that. But okay, so I call this episode a season review. I don't know about you guys, but to me, this was an endless season. I don't. It was. It looked like. But actually, the last 3 or 4 seasons, they look like every season lasted like 5 of them. But yeah, it's over. We accomplish. I want to say the minimum goal we had. The mean is the fourth spot, and now we need to move forward. And it looks like we're gonna have like another couple of weeks where something big is gonna happen again. I will add. So, having said that, hi Raffaele, hi Giulio, hi Eduardo. We are waiting for John. And Edo, what do you think about the season? Were you happy? It was like, hi John, how you doing? Was
Hi,
it like you
Hey, John.
expected? You expected more? Go
Hey,
ahead.
John.
You're free.
hey,
You're free to say
Giulio.
whatever you want.
Edo.
Hey, John. I mean, happy for the way it ended. We somehow managed. But yeah, I had much higher expectations. And not necessarily in terms of, winning big things, but at least, being in contention for something. We were never in it. We were never in it for the Champions League. We were never in it for Coppa Italia, Serie A. I mean, things went downhill pretty quickly. So it felt very long, like you said. And I don't know. We said it was year zero. It's going to be another essentially year zero from on multiple levels, I guess. But it's
You have your personal group, Edo.
you see, Mauro. No, I mean I'm gonna take my victory lap at the end in terms of lockout, but yeah, it was a long season, very disappointing, very I don't know. It really tested, the fact that we were still watching the game, last game of the season, all the way to the 95th or 96th minute. I think it's a testament to how much we like and we love Juve because any other fan would have been at the beach doing something else, I guess.
Raffaele, jumping to Raffaele. Raffaele, how was it? Have you imagined a season like that? Were you expecting more?
Yeah,
Are you disappointed?
At the beginning, I wasn't expecting too much. But at the same time, I didn't expect all what happened. The worst case scenario happened, and even worse than that. I think the season was basically the main issue were the injuries that we had, and I think that affected also, the past coach. Not even gonna mention his name. But basically, too many injuries, and it could have been, the way that we trained. It could have been just bad luck. But I think it's a combination of the way we trained, the way we played, the way the players were put on the field, and that really defined the season. When you lose Bremer, you lose Cabal, and then you lose all the other ones week after week. It's really difficult to play. But luckily, we made it to the Champions League, and hopefully, this is a start for the new season. It's a good start, and I hope the players learned from this season, and the new coach, because I think we're going to have a new coach, will be able to build on that.
Yep, good enough. Giulio?
Sorry, let me unmute. I mean, enough said about the goals, whatever. But I think there were like three seasons within this season. There was like the one that started till January, right, where everybody was like, okay,
new project, new coach, let's support, lots of ties. Okay, that's fine. Let's wait, but we're still in for the 4th spot. We're still in for the Coppa Italia. We're still in to make it to the round of 16 in Champions League, right? Then there is like that month where we sync completely everything. That's the second part, like completely sync everything within like 3 weeks. I don't remember ever anything like that. And then there is Tudor, right? And Tudor coming in tells me that we've been blaming the players all along. We've been blaming the players all along. And he managed to bring out of the players something that we hadn't seen before, with like a huge emergency situation, way bigger than Motta. You guys can tell me whatever you want, but like at least Gatti and Kalulu were always available, you know. So I mean, the kind of emergencies that they had right now, it's like unbelievable. It's a miracle we made it to the 4th spot. So that's why I'm actually happy. You asked me, are you happy? Yeah. Yes, because I thought we're not going to make it to the 4th spot. So in the end, I am happy. So seasons within the season that teaches that we need to be very careful when we pick somebody to put on that bench. Very careful. You know, sitting on Juventus bench, we've said it from the beginning. It's not like sitting anywhere, and then it shows. So I'm happy we made it to the 4th spot. You know, now there is the World Cup. I'm excited about that. I'm excited whatever comes next. I don't care as long as we're in the 4th spot. But I lost like I aged a few years this season for sure. Jesus.
You're muted.
Thank you. I have no idea how can I make it without you when you're gonna move from here. Okay. So John, I kept you for last because I know you're gonna be pretty vocal. So stage is yours.
Well, I'm gonna add a 4th part to that to Julio's. I think we had 4 sections. I mean, I was privy to 4 parts of this year. I was privy to a pretty decent game live for Juventus Manchester City, and I felt that the team was showing aspects of growth under Motta, or this bel calcio that people bel calcio, whatever that may be, or whatever that is, or what that definition is. And I saw, you know, especially that game against Leipzig. If we go back, shorthanded, Di Gregorio red card, and the play of Vlahovic, the inspiration of Conceição, the tactics and the play of Cambiaso, and I feel like the key to the team was lost when Bremer went down. Like, I felt like the entire team completely deflated when Bremer went down with his injury, and then it just became a spiral. Cabal with the Brazilian national team, he hurt himself.
Colombian.
Yeah.
Colombia, sorry.
Yeah, with his national team.
With his
Colombia.
national team, and then Kalulu, you know, and most recently Gatti. I'm like, we can't keep a defensive line if our life
Miners.
Coop Miners, but it's okay. Him hurt. I wasn't. Not that I want him hurt, but him not on the pitch for me wasn't a loss, to be very honest. I'm excited that the season is over, and I'm excited to see how stressful I'm going to be next year. How stressed I'm going to be next year. I'm excited to see which one of my members will lose their temper inside the clubhouse and cause a ruckus. I think any more of a beating as a fan base, I don't think you can have unless you're a Manchester United fan. And at this time, I think that, you know, it shows the composure of a lot of us. The game, and I agree to the extent that, you know, we had to wait till the 95th minute. See, but it just goes to show, the desperation of this team. It just was that for me was the tagline for the year, was desperation, on all levels. And it, like I said, that last game, but I also agree with Giulio, is that if this was first half of the season or still under Motta, there wouldn't have been a response. This team is responding. And I saw it live against Lazio in Rome, where 9 men, they owned Lazio in Rome. A strong team coached by a great individual in Baroni, and they owned Lazio in Rome, and that doesn't happen often. And it was a sold out crowd in the Olimpico, and you saw the difference in this team. A bit of a composure, and then get that horrible call on our behalf. Just remind me, just for funny and like just to amuse myself and humor me. Nico Gonzalez, he got an elbow to the face. He was bleeding. Was there a card on the play?
Nope.
No, what? Sorry? There was no card. Damn. That damn VAR. They probably didn't have the angle.
Yeah,
on that call.
No,
but
probably there was not a camera from like the
outer
from
space?
the balcony from
Yeah.
outer space.
the one that they had in Rome. Yes, but I'm teasing. But again, I don't want to ramble, but there's more we can talk about. But desperation, and I very much, I think that we were made to believe, as always, that we had a better team than what we really do have. And I think that
No, I
needs.
don't think the team is bad, actually. I don't
So,
think the team is bad.
If we're looking at, is this a Scudetto winning team? No.
If you give this team to another coach, I think he's a Scudetto winning team.
honestly, if Napoli won this year, this team could win. I don't think the Napoli's team is that much better than our roster.
Mhm.
Well, if you look at one by one, but I mean, the problem is like psychologically, this team just like was completely shattered. Shattered. But in February, there was nothing left of this team, and they did it to themselves. I'm not blaming just Mott, but I agree with Matteo. It's not that bad. The team, it's not that bad. It maybe needs 2 or 3 players for sure, but it's not that bad.
You need a couple of strikers. You need a midfield with good quality, and at least you need these 3
You
players.
need a playmaker.
So we have a comment by Mauro, and I think Tudor was carried away after he clinched the goal. He was brought in, okay, and he sidetracked on what he was used to say. I think he was bad what he said, bad because it was like conflicting with what Giuntoli was said before the game, okay. And I don't want to defend Giuntoli. Giuntoli, I think, is like is the most disappointing person on Juve on the Juve front office, on a Juve company. I don't know you're gonna call it that I have the biggest disappointment I have in the last couple of years. Okay, but yeah, I guess the day after the game, Tudor's agent reminded him that he signed a contract. We basically said that we can you're gonna train for the World Cup, and then we see what's gonna happen. So yeah, it's true, Michael, what you said. Napoli didn't have any other competition. Oh, actually, they decided to get eliminated from Coppa Italia right away because I think they were eliminated by Frosinone, if not mistaken. So I don't want to go back to in the Motta conversation. I have a special, a different idea about him. I think a lot of blame is on Giuntoli. Okay, how he handled the season, how he handled it last season as well. Okay. Ciao Pietro, whenever you want, you can come back. Another one that was in Italy for a couple of months. Lucky you guys. And so I'm gonna keep it short, okay? Since before the season we have some prediction. Raffaele and John, you are not on, so I have the prediction. Was me, Giulio, Billo, Edo, and Mauro. So Mauro is here, is in the chat. So nobody picked the right winner because we have Giulio, Billo, Edo, and Mauro say Inter. Okay, and I was thinking outside the box, and I predicted Milan, so I failed miserably. Okay,
No, but we went reverse psychology. That's the whole thing.
Then we had Giulio, Juventus finishing like second. I have Billo and me with Juve finishing third. Edo with Juventus finishing third, and Mauro with Juventus finished fifth. Okay, I think Mauro was still like sad because Allegri
had left.
And then we were predicting who were relegated to Serie B. So Giulio had Empoli and Verona, so he got Empoli right. Billo had Venezia and Parma, so he got Venezia right. Edo, I don't have anybody. I predicted Venezia and Verona to be relegated, and I was right about Venezia. And then we had how many goals Dusan would have scored. I predicted between all competition more than 20, and I failed another one miserably. Below 19, Julius between 15 and 20, and Eduardo 18. I think Julius is the only one close because I think he had like 10 goals in Serie A plus. 2 or
Champions
3
League, 2 or 3 in Champions League, 4 in Champions League, and that's it, right? No Coppa Italia.
Exactly. No, Coppa Italia. The only goal was no. Maybe we won a game in Coppa Italia. I don't remember if he scored. But
I think it's 15 total.
So now going back to the past, looking forward. Okay, so I'm gonna ask each one of you. So. Who you want Juventus be trained next year? And so the name is Conte, then Tudor or someone else. And do you still want Giuntoli as basically at the top, our like sport managing the sports section of the company? Start with Edo.
No, I mean there is one name that it's out there, and if it's not Conte, I know that Giulio has some strong feelings about it, but if it's not Conte, then honestly, maybe it's my fault, but I don't see a name that is like, okay, clearly much better than Tudor, considering the experience he had, the last 8-9 games he coached, and considering he knows the plays, he knows the team, he knows the ownership, he knows what it's like to coach on that bench. I mean, I don't see anybody who's like, oh yes, if it's not Conte, we gotta go and get that guy. As far as Giuntoli is concerned, I'm really with you in terms of disappointment in his.
We're agreeing too much, Eduardo. Lately.
Yeah, I'm really getting worried here. I don't know there's something off, but no, and it's not just a matter of the players he bought and the players he sold and stuff like that. I have a lot of issues with that too. But to me, the impression that I have is that he hasn't built confidence and trust, in the group. I don't think he goes along very well with a number of individuals within the team and within the front office. And that to me is, I mean, there's no way you have a successful company if that's the sort of mutual feeling that there is. So it's 2 years now, right? 2 years in his contract. Yeah, I'm really struggling to find something that he excelled at. It's really, I could see some good things, some bad things, some things that were probably necessary in terms of selling some players. I don't know, maybe not, but if you tell me that one thing that he did that is just, putting him among, the top tier for
I can
that
tell
role,
you if you want.
I mean, what he brought.
Wait for your turn.
I don't know. You're gonna say Thuram, I know, but I agree. No.
Fix the books. That's why we brought him in. Everybody from the beginning. We're fixing the books. We need to look at the books. We're fixing the books. Now they fixed the books. We already forgot that they fixed the books.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, guys, we forget that we brought him in a situation where we were completely sinking. We already forgot about all of that, right? We got rid of huge salaries.
But it wasn't his choice.
What do you mean it wasn't his choice? We got him because he's good at managing that too, and he did. and he did.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys can't deny that. That's a huge achievement, not a small one. Huge. Besides, like all the moves that he did, some are good, some are bad. But that's with any DS or whatever DG, call it like they want. Any, some good or some bad. But like that was great. Then we can debate here how he handled the Allegri situation, which was again in let's fix the books and we need to move on, right? Or Motta, we can debate that. Or if he's like what's his name, a Marotta figure, like need to go out there. Maybe it's not that person, but like he has done a lot of good stuff. And you guys are discounting a lot of that. I think that's my opinion on this.
Anybody want to chime in?
Yeah.
Raffaele, John?
Yeah,
And then we have this question for Pietro.
I'm in full agreement with Giulio. He was giving money. Guys, remember this. I can tell you, as an employer, I'm the one who drops the request down to my staff. Doesn't matter what. You may not like it as a client, but if I tell my staff to do something and that's what his mandate is, you know, we can yell and scream about Huijsen. We had to get rid of Huijsen because he's 100% profit. We needed, like, they were a wit. Juventus has been the witch of Serie A. The hunt has been on us for whatever, any opportunity. So if I have to give any where I'm completely baffled about, and luckily he's gone, it's not necessarily Giuntoli. He may find himself gone, and there's a lot of talk. The one where I'm happy that he's leaving and he's escorting himself out is Calvo. And in my opinion, he's done more wrong and harm to Juventus and its brand than Giuntoli will ever do or has done. You understand? He's following direction, and everyone's all happy when we're like, oh, we're out of this mess. We used our next gen players. We didn't lose anything. What we created, we use those players to get ourselves out of the jam, and that jam has been around since COVID, when we had no revenues, stadiums are closed, paying Ronaldo all that money, and I still would take Ronaldo under any circumstance. That's a different story. But at the end of the day, the guy did his job, and outside of me being an Allegri fanboy and how he managed Allegri, that's a personality. I love Bonucci and I love Allegri, but they hate each other, and that happens. Personalities clash. But the guy was hired, and he did exactly what Elkan, what Scanavino, what Sleepy, what's his name there, Ferrero was doing, or when Ferrero was awake, and doing. And I can't see a lot of fault. The only one is his, I'm going to tell you, glaring, which I think a lot of people are pinpointing, is his absolute love for Thiago Motta and his willingness to give him more rope. He didn't realize he wasn't giving rope to skip. He was giving more rope so that he can wrap it around his neck and hang himself, because that's what Motta was doing.
Giuntoli basically jumped out of Motta ship like in September.
That's not true. You keep saying the September thing.
Because
it's
it's
so
true.
not true.
Because
No,
it's true.
in January,
Okay.
he bought the players for Motta. I mean, in January, we were in on everything. We're fighting for the fourth spot. We're fighting for Coppa Italia, everything. He bought like 3 defenders like we wanted. He bought like Colomwani like we wanted.
At the end of January.
So if I may,
Whatever, but he bought it by the end of the season. By the end of the thing, he still had these players before he sunk everything. I mean, Tudor.
I have a
like
different.
won-
I have a different opinion.
But I know, but the opinions like also need to fit in reality. He picked him in August. He jumped in September. What does
No, he
that
picked him
mean?
in January. He picked him last January.
Yeah, okay, I understand. But like he became the coach like in July, whenever it was in August. What does it mean? He dropped him. It doesn't mean anything in September.
Yeah.
okay,
But
if
how?
I
Based
may
on
say
what?
something about the
Raffaele.
accounting.
Yeah.
I kind of disagree in a way that he did a good job in the accounting, because we're basically bombarded by the media on basically the balance sheet, or like, how are we doing in terms of, how much we lost and this and that. But at the end of the day, and John, maybe like from your perspective, you have a better view. But at the end of the day, it's really the real profit or loss that you make and the cash flow that you have, in a business. And if you look at the real cash flow, at the liquidity of Juventus, now we're going to have to input another, I don't know, 60 or 80 million dollars from the property to basically fill that gap. And the point is that he took basically a negative that was carried over from the past administration, and he pushed it forward 2 years and 3 years back. Because let's not forget that he spent $200 million that are not payable, within this season, but are payable within the next.
Everybody's stuck with this 200 million euros narrative, which is not true.
Well, it's
did,
true.
but it also brought in some money.
Right.
It also brought in some money. So if you look at the balance in September, it was 0. 200 spent, 200 in. Or 100, something like that. So
189 and 200. It's
Right.
it's
So-
an $11 million discrepancy.
that's also the
problem
wrong
with that-
narrative.
The problem with that, it's not that it's wrong narrative, is that when you look at the cash flow, like at the end of the day, let's say that you close the books today, right?
Mm.
You have all the money to pay for your liabilities, or how much would it have left?
Well, that's
Rafael is saying because Conceição basically still is on loan.
Yeah.
You got to eventually you got to pay, and you pay 7 million for the loan. And eventually you need to pay 30 million to get him. And then Nico Gonzalez, that is your player, but basically you just paid the loan for this year, and he's going to be on the books for 35. If I'm not mistaken, next year, okay. And Kalulu, it was on loan, so yeah, like another. So basically, you already spent what I think Rafael is trying to say, that basically you have a lot of money that you already spent right now for the market.
I mean, that's the price of doing business.
No, no. Look, and I'm the one. I don't blame him to spend like what he spent from Nico. No, I don't blame for what he spent from Kalulu. I think I have an issue with what he paid for Comp Miners, but not because Comp Miners is not a bad player, because I think Comp Miners is a really talented player. But if he's going to pay what Atalanta was asking, like basically 1 year ago, I would have got him like 1 year ago, not like on the last second on the transfer market.
But that's how we get treated in the market, and that's because of previous situations.
No, if you were going to pay 60 million in May, Atalanta was more happy than not that they give it to you.
Look,
because you were trying to lower the money, to lower the transfer fee, and it was not able to get it and it didn't have a replacement.
There's two people in the Juve manager, one who's no longer, and one who's leaving on his own, that need to be hung, tarred, and feathered in Piazza San Carlo. Paratici is one. Secondary is Calvo. We went a full season. I will make a difference between that, because when Paratici was asked to do what Paratici is able to do, really good at it. It was a really good scout. Okay, when he was asked to do what is not good at it, he doesn't have the capability. It's like if he asked me to do your job, probably John, I'm gonna suck at it because I don't have the experience to do that. So, but it maybe if you tell me to do something to work on a Juventus account, maybe I'm gonna do good because I know Juventus. But these two, and look, we went a full season, $30-40 million lost without a sponsor on our jersey.
Yep.
And this is because someone who got greedy in the market as to what have you, and he had deals in place. And I don't want to talk out of turn, and I don't want to talk out, because we can have a discussion afterwards. There were 3 deals on the table that he pinned against each one of them, and he got caught. He got caught with his pants around his ankles. And the problem is, if we're trying to manage our dollars and cents, and I hate the fact that Calcio's got to this point where we're discussing more the financials than we are the product on the pitch, and it's interpreted a different way, because I'm pretty sure all of us, I don't know how old Edo is. He looks a lot younger than, he's got a full head of hair. I know Matteo still has
probably 18.
Right? So I know when I was watching the game, there was no absolutely, when I was young, there was not even a thought in my mind about the financials and the economics of football. It was watching teams play on the pitch, and it's changed. And I hope it changes, or it kind of diminishes, because it's become an absolute circus paying attention. But we have this management that's still. I'm hoping. I have hope with guys like Chiellini. I have hope with the opportunity of bringing in stronger mentality players from a lower level that will kind of help build together, just like back in 2007, 2008. Now, hear me out. When we had a young John Elkann and a young Andrea Agnelli who really had to get their feet wet and dirty in terms of understanding the business because they were just thrown into it with the passing of Umberto, passing of the Avvocato, and all that stuff, taking over, starting the project with the stadium. It was overwhelming, getting over Calciopoli, dealing with the legals of that and the ramifications. So I really hope that we're in this renaissance period of rebirth of a Phoenix. I'm hoping as soon as possible that the Phoenix shows up nice and healthy and fresh and stays alive for a very long time, more than 9 seasons. But this is an absolute decay because of everything that fell. It's a house of cards. It fell, and we're rebuilding. And we're trying to rebuild, but we're rebuilding with the wrong people in place because the wrong people at top are putting in people who do not have the capacity. And we talk about Paratici. Andrea Agnelli, I forever love and adore and appreciate. I think his Achilles heel was thinking that Paratici was able to do what he was doing and take over for Pepe Marotta, and that was never ever going to be the case. And
he didn't have Marotta capability.
No, not at all.
Like Marotta doesn't have the capability to scout a player that Paratici had. In fact, now with the fucking other team that I'm not going to mention, he's still doing what he's doing, and the person that like is picking the player is Ausilio, is not him. So the problem was never getting rid of Marotta. The problem was never replacing him. So,
but we still have
hopefully.
We still have the problem. Giuntoli is
and it looks like we're moving. It looks like we're putting different player because Cannavini is gonna probably focus on Juventus. Chiellini is gonna elevate his role. They're talking about this French guy that I have no idea who he is. Like probably is coming back in. They're talking about Tognotti coming back, and Giuntoli maybe Tognotti is gonna take like a Giuntoli spot. Who knows? But let's go back to the pitch. John, Tudor or Conte? Because I have a question about here from Pietro. That we can tell you.
I'm gonna tell you if it's Club World Cup or for next season.
For next season, come on, Raffaele. What do you want to say? Come on,
I'm gonna say Tudor. Okay. If it was my decision, it would be Tudor.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I have to go, unfortunately, with Conte because
I like your choice of word.
Yeah,
I love your choice of word.
And I lived through 9 years of not winning anything, from 86 to
95.
Yeah. So, and I don't want to go through the same thing. I'm just tired. I want to win something. So, I think the only thing it's with Conte, from a statistics perspective, I would have not wanted him to win the Scudetto, because now he has to win back to back. If he comes back to us and we want him to win. But I think he has the skills, and he can take care of the players. But I hope there was something else, but I don't see that something else.
John, you want to articulate more on Tudor?
I think this team needs a little more of this slap. Look, Conte for me is just, I'm sorry, I'm done. I was done after he quit on this team and we brought in Allegri. I listen. I don't like that. For me is a weak. And you can't forget that. And I tell people this all the time. As much as he probably draws a lot of energy out of his players and so on and so forth, good for him. I'm absolutely spent having to actually look at his face and hear his pressers. I don't like his pressers. I don't like his demeanor. I think he's an egotist. I think he is vain. I think he is arrogant. I think that there's a clear line between being humble and confident, versus arrogant and pompous. And I think he's arrogant and pompous, and I don't want to proceed with that. People can dislike Allegri for his tactics. Allegri was a gentleman, a cerebral assassin with the media and thing, and he knew how to speak. He knew how to project in a manner where we as fans, regardless
But
whether you
let
like
me
his
ask,
tactics,
let
he
me
was
ask this.
able to project himself in a manner that I say, this is my coach.
But so you have full trust on Tudor, or just you pick Tudor for the lack
I
alternatives?
I think we need an inspirational. I think we have talent. I think that we should again be fighting for a Champions League spot. And I would welcome another year with reinforcements, guys coming back, if you will, under Tudor and enjoying the thing, and have Tudor give you the reins and saying, this is what you need to do. And I think he is a humble enough guy and reasonable and in tune to understand that he was given a dream opportunity for 9 games, which he relished. I think he succeeded. I said before that at minimum it would be six wins, 2 ties, and a loss, and it was 5 wins, 1 loss, and 3 ties, or 5 tie, whatever it was, 3 ties.
3 ties, yeah, 3 ties.
Yeah, right. So I wasn't far off in terms of him making what we needed to do. I would leave him there. I would leave him there.
I like this comment.
The problem with that comment, and a lot of people are taking for granted, Conte comes, we win. That's the problem I have with that approach. Conte comes, we win. But what if Conte comes and we don't win?
Yeah.
What happens? What is Conte gonna do? That's the problem I have with Conte.
Yeah.
Conte is good only if we win, if we succeed. If something goes wrong by this much, Conte is gonna destroy everything around.
Yeah.
Everything. That's the problem I have with that choice. If I put aside my feelings toward what he did, and he's a piece of shit that shouldn't set foot anymore, like anything black and white. But that's, if I put that on the side, and if I look at it logically, rationally, I have to consider that. If it goes well, it goes well. If it doesn't, then we don't have plan B. Whether with Tudor, if it doesn't go well, he's somebody that is, is able to handle that kind of situation, right? Because it's a long project. It's not just, I need to come, I need to win another time, I need to show that I'm a winner. Conte is not coming to make Juventus win. Conte is going to come to make him win. If things don't go well, he's out. Then if he comes, it's Conte. It's not we're hiring like a deadbeat. But there is that aspect that everybody that's saying let's bring Conte in is underestimating. To me, that's the biggest problem I have with Conte. That part. Plus, Tudor, to me, has earned to stay. But that's another story.
Edo, Raffaele, you want to reply?
No, I understand the logic in what Giulio's saying, but there is, the numbers tell you that Conte's ceiling is, at least in terms of Serie A, is very high. That to me, it's the question. It's what is, I don't know. I have not kind of like gotten an idea of what Tudor's ceiling is as a coach in this sort of environment. Like, what is, he did well. Honestly, he did, a good job. But like, what is, his top? Like, how far can he take this team with all the limits? The players are what they are. We don't have superstars. The quality is what it is. I have a hard time understanding or imagining, okay, a year from now, what is my realistic expectation of Tudor as a coach? Whereas Conte, I just know the history of that guy. With all, character flaws, we can stay here all night long and list them one by one because there is plenty. But it's, what you're getting. And in a way, he's so full of himself that he probably comes thinking he can win. I don't think Tudor coaches thinking he can win. a Serie A or being a real contender.
But is that a bad thing? Being realistic.
Well, it's two different styles, and we've seen it Conte doing the same thing once with us before. And my biggest worry is not that Conte fails, is that we are expecting things to just be a repeat of that first Conte era.
Not gonna happen.
It's
But
not going to happen.
the thing is, like,
And it's not. Maybe because we might improve significantly, but maybe the competition is also much stronger. So it's not just our fault. Maybe there are other teams. Inter is an old roster you can think of, but they're still going to be good next year unless something completely crazy happens. So you cannot just blindly expect history to repeat.
Oh, I love Pietro. He mentioned
So-
the name.
So to all those that want Conte in the chat and here, what are the chances, according to you, coming to Conte, that we have winning?
That
If you need to give me a number,
that
60%, 70%
More.
chances of winning, 80, 90. What's in
winning
your
or
mind?
coming? Winning or coming?
With coming Conte and winning, right? Because everybody says Conte is the one that is going to make us win. Easy. I think I read somewhere in the comments saying Conte easy, right? So what are the chances in your mind, those that want Conte, for us winning? We have a 70% chance, 80, 90, 95. What is it?
we have a bigger chance to win with Conte than with Tudor.
What is it? But what is this
I agree with
chance?
Nick.
Okay, what is it?
It's a
I'd
question.
be happy
of-
with 50%. I'll be happy.
Yeah, but
So we
I
have a
don't think it's
50-50.
about the chance.
Huh?
I don't think it's about the chance or winning or not. I think you are bringing back something that was lacking at the beginning of the year, and which I'll be very honest. And when we talk about Tudor, I think with Tudor from the beginning of the year we would have won the Scudetto this year because
Oh, really?
there.
Interesting.
Because you just needed a normal coach that didn't go crazy, that knew that when you walk through the spogliatoio and you see the pictures of the captains, you have to respect that, and you have someone that doesn't go crazy. I think we would have done a lot better. But in terms of Conte's bringing something that has been lacking this year. You have Giuntoli going on TV saying one thing, and then Tudor it's saying the opposite. 20 minutes later.
Come on, guys, there was one time, one
No,
instance.
it's not one time.
Like,
Okay, so no,
Not
hold
one
on.
time. Most
Hold on.
of
Conte is gonna do it every Sunday. That he's gonna
Guys,
do it every
what-
Sunday the
you're
whole
saying
year.
something-
And
you're
that's
saying
what I'm
something
trying to say. Just
I already agree with Edo.
just 1 second, and let me finish the thought process.
Okay.
Is that with Conte, you're not gonna have anybody else talking. He's gonna take everything in, and it's his way, and that's his bad and good. You can take
I
it
don't
whatever
think
you
so.
want,
It's
but
way.
he's gonna take everything on himself, and that's what I think. And
He has never taken responsibility for anything. When things went
So-
bad, he was pointing the finger either the management or the players. He never said it was his fault. He's never done it. And when he got to the point, he walked away every time with everybody.
Julio, I'm gonna answer your question with a question, and I'm gonna lead to something here. What has been the biggest? I mean, for everybody too. What has been the biggest failure of Juventus? And I'm not talking about the players. What has been the biggest failure with Juventus as a whole?
This year?
But in the last 4 or 5 years, what's been our failure?
communication.
Management? Should we say management? Are we okay with saying that?
Combination depends. I would say management, because we didn't have like a strong lead, and then we've had a weak team, which I don't think we have this year.
So let's bring in, even though it's hopefully going the right direction, Conte with still a weak management. I consider Scanavino and Ferrero weak management, even with Giuntoli, a personality. So look at the polarizing figure that Conte has had to battle in Napoli. De Laurentiis doesn't back down for no one, not his mother. Not his
Wait. De Laurentiis was full support with Conte.
No. So I agree. So what I'm saying to you is, as an individual, as an owner, as the person that we have in De Laurentiis. De Laurentiis does not get bullied.
Oh, okay, okay.
He does not get bullied.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
Yeah.
Conte, and again, what Julio was saying, this is why I agree with Julio's is if he does not win, what will happen to his team? He will absolutely have the Allianz implode along with Conte Nasa. He has got the capacity, and he is the guy who wants the mic and be able to take the mic and control. Fantastic. Without the proper leadership, I'm sorry. It's I don't I look.
You have a point. All of you have a point. Look, I haven't said anything. All of you have a point, but can I say something? And look, I'm probably the only one between us, okay, that was rooting for Inter to win the Scudetto rather than Conte with Napoli, okay, because I didn't want to see Conte winning with Napoli. Okay?
I wouldn't repeat that again, please.
Yeah, I was like, is this?
I don't have an issue to say. I hate that guy so much, but honestly, at this point, you said with the weak management, the Conte match made even a bigger sense with that now with the weaker management, because Conte is gonna polarize everything on himself. And you said that when things doesn't go his way, okay, he leaves. Yes, it's true. It's true. So he left Juventus and we became bigger.
Not because he left.
He left Juventus and left me. He left Inter, and basically Inter is the best team the last 5 years, even reaching out to Champions League final, and one is going to happen in a couple of days. He left Chelsea, and Chelsea won the Champions League. Okay, he didn't do really well at Tottenham, okay, but there was some personal. I'm gonna give you like a pass because there was some personal issue over there, like with he needed to get a surgery and taking a leave of absence, and Ventrone passing away, okay, and now probably he's gonna leave Napoli. I don't know where Napoli is gonna go, honestly, but we're gonna probably answer this question in a couple of years, okay. So it's true, yeah, it's true that he always leave it on his own term, but it's even true that the team that he left, they didn't seek after he left.
Sure. And what I'm saying is, like, if we win, it's going to leave us with
I agree with Mauro. Yeah,
it's
totally right, Mauro. Yeah, we know that. But
if we manage to win, sure, we're going to be left with a winning mentality, right? But what I'm saying is, like, it's a very big gamble, considering we have a weak management. Having somebody can blow everything up, whether keeping somebody like Tudor, they could win as well. Maybe not in 1 year, but in 2, but not blow anything. That's all I'm saying. Then Conte comes, I'm going to root for him, and I know what he's capable of, and maybe we're going to even win. But it's a big gamble, really big, considering how weak is everything behind it. That's what I'm saying. It's not this, he's going to put the focus on him. It's when he leaves what is left, for whatever reason he leaves. If he leaves because things didn't go well, that's what concerns me. We're even back another 3 years. You know, that's what concerns me.
I just made like at least 3 examples of teams that he left. That when he left, they had a much better season than when he was on the team.
Yeah, after he left them winning, yeah, sure. But that's what I said. If we manage to win, sure. If we don't, I don't know where we are though. We can't. That's the problem. Whether I know
you don't think Tudor is a gamble?
No. It's not a gamble. Tudor is like a project. Conte is not a project.
Yeah,
Conte is a sprint, and you hope that you win that sprint. If you don't, you are even more tired than when you started. That's what Conte is. And it's fine. It's a gamble. That's what I'm saying. It's a gamble. Conte, it's a gamble. It's not a safe bet. It's it's a different type of gamble. People think that Conte is the safe choice. No. It's not. It's a different type of gamble.
I agree with this.
So do I.
No, project means risk assessment. Sorry. So where things can go wrong.
Because we share the same idea on that, and we have I'm I'm grateful with what Tudor did, but I think you have as many question mark on Tudor job as I have.
But why you guys didn't have this question marks with Motta at the beginning?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's no two coaches are the same. Like it's a completely different, scenario. Like it was a gamble to get Motta and pair him with a new, front office, or like giving him all these powers and whatnot. That was a big gamble too. And I said that on this podcast many times, and it didn't pay out. But I have, for instance, about Tudor, you can ask yourself, okay, maybe Tudor excels in this sort of situation where he has to get some sort of gut reaction out of the players because of the circumstances, and he's he gave this team certainly some sort of identity that we didn't have before. I don't think we sort of win that Venezia game if that game is played somewhere in half of the season. But to me the question is, you're comparing two different rows. You're comparing one road that is okay, low risk, maybe low rewards with Tudor, and a high risk, high reward with Conte. And you can say it's a gamble Conte, but he has a long history of winning, outperforming much better teams, overperforming his own roster. Because if you look at that Napoli roster this year, honestly, that back line, Rachmani, Juan Jesus, whatever, Oliveira, and Di Lorenzo.
That's the back line that won 2 years ago. Buongiorno. They had Buongiorno.
But he missed it like half of the season, essentially.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. But
so it's just a matter of like, with all that, historical records he has. And, it's funny that Giulio, who's the only guy that literally lives in Hollywood, does not want to have this sort of like, movie-like setting where the guy becomes the bad guy and then comes back and becomes the good guy again. And I'm like,
I'd take the star away from the stadium from him if I could.
Oh,
exactly.
So speaking of Hollywood and stars.
Okay, so last question for you guys. Last question for you. So we talk about Tudor. Now I have straight question. Do you keep? Look, I think you don't have other choice that you cannot sack Giuntoli this time, because basically you can don't sack what is his role, like a direct questo di direttore sportivo.
Sporting director?
Sporting director,
yeah. Because sporting director should buy and sell player at this time of the year, okay? And I'm gonna ask, would you keep him or you get rid of him too and start fresh with another one?
Giuntoli
didn't pick Tudor. Giuntoli had Mancini been at Continassa for the next couple of years. So question for you. I'm gonna go Giulio with you.
Yeah.
Good question. This is a good question. That's a good question. I don't think they can, by the way.
No, but that was the whole point when we were saying weak management. It's like it's not a good management. I would keep Giuntoli. I think Giuntoli has made some mistakes, but I haven't seen moves like Alberto Costa for 12 million, Cabal for 12 million, Kalulu for 15 million, like all this Thuram for 22, like in a long time. Like all we were buying was De Ligt for 80 million and 12 million a year, Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah. I mean, so if you look, he is not doing that bad from that point of view. Could have done better in certain things. Not happy Fagioli left and whatever. But overall, yeah, I'll keep him.
Okay. Raffaele?
So obviously, as a person, I would not want anybody to lose their job, but from my perspective I would not keep him because you have 2 years of doing similar things to the coaches that he worked with. I don't know how that's going to change with the third coach. If Motta didn't change, I think Giuntoli doesn't change. But another thing I wanted to add, as we hear these conversations, we can all play devil's advocate for what we say. I think we are all right, and we all made
Right.
points.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, as Juventus supporters, whoever comes next, we have to support.
Of course, but that's always.
Yeah, and we have to start united.
If Conte comes, he's gonna be my my Jesus to pray at night. I hate the guy, but if he sits on the bench, I mean,
You're
I
gonna
forget
grow some
everything
hair
else.
back. Yeah.
If they grow, I wish. I mean, I would do that. Yeah.
And then you're right, Raffaele, with that. Definitely. Do you have a name? Would you like to see in spot of Giuntoli?
No, it's very interesting, and going back to the Conte's name, why I mentioned Conte, it's because I don't have any other name for a coach. I don't have any name for Giuntoli. It's I don't know if it's because I haven't been following things, but to be honest, I don't have a name.
Mauro says Sartori.
He's
Not a
not
bad
going to
name.
move from Bologna.
No.
John? Giuntoli in, Giuntoli out.
Giuntoli in. Only because he did exactly what this dumb management told him to do. In a lot of dumb in certain ways. And like I said, the only flaw I give him is to a certain degree, and I don't think it was September, Matteo, but I think that he really was wanting this Motta thing to work out, to create this calcio that is bel calcio, moderno, whatever, that never came out of it. And we kind of imploded just with injuries, as we always do, and it kind of went. But I don't blame him. You're talking about a guy who's playing under fire, and being asked to pull triggers and do things, and people complaining about what he did, Kelly and what have you. But under circumstances, if Gatti, Celti, Cabal, Kalulu, Bremer, we're not talking, and we're not moving. I don't care. Someone said to me, I saw in the group that Danilo didn't even deserve to be in the Danilo didn't even deserve to be in the tribuna. That's Ravanelli. That's not
Penna Bianca.
So I mean, I find that to be highly offensive towards Danilo, because I believe that Danilo in these circumstances would have been very utility-like for this team. So getting rid of Rugani, getting rid of him, moving these pieces, if you think about it in hindsight, if we would have had Rugani and Danilo here, do you go out to get Kelly? You probably don't. You don't, and these are things we can blame on Motta, because Motta's the one who went to Giuntoli and caused the grief and said, you got to move this guy, you got to move that guy. I can't use it. And he listened to his coach, as a good DS does. He listens to his coach. And that's his only flaw. And I think he should be given that third year to see. And then you make a decision. You can make a decision half year. You can make a decision within the first 3 months. But the problem, and I'm going to leave it at this, that this team, this management has done consistently well, is throw out the pot and fill it with stuff new, and not giving it time to boil, to create
100%,
something.
100%.
Okay, so this has got to stop. And the thing is, we throw away players, we throw away the coach, new players, new coach, and we expected automatic Cinderella-like response. That is not anything. I started 3 companies. It took me 5 years, each company, to start profiting and moving in the right direction. There's got to be a project. And this is why I'm going to go back, I'm with more Tudor than I am with Conte. Conte is not a project. Conte is a response. Giuntoli is a project man. He's not a response.
Edo, and then we have this.
Before I say my things on Giuntoli, I'm going to say that I'm very disappointed that we haven't talked about the news of the day.
What was that?
That Alexandre is back with Brazil national team.
It's true. Danilo and Alexandro.
It's true. I was like, what?
Ancelotti.
But that
Yeah.
show you another time that the issue with Juventus start with their fans.
Is Allegri the new
It started with their fan, because Alexandro, yes, it was time to move on, like probably 4 years ago, not last year, okay, but it wasn't as bad as it was depicted in the picture. And like Kelly, yes, it's not, but it's not as bad as like, yes, last Sunday was really bad, but there was people that was worse than him. Naming one, Cambiaso. Cambiaso was terrible. Okay, Edo.
I'll be short. Yeah, no, Giuntoli out.
Okay,
Matteo.
Right now,
Matteo.
What happened?
No, nothing. You need to tell us. Giuntoli out, Giuntoli in, Conte or Tudor?
Yeah.
Well, no, right, but Conte, if I have a chance to bring Conte right now, it needs to happen right now. It needs to happen right now. He offered himself last year when he was not as strong as he is right now, because last year he was begging to come back, and you decided to go a different way, which I was 100% on that boat. Okay, and you failed and he won. Okay, this year he's in a much stronger position, but if I have a chance to bring him in, I'm gonna pick Conte over.
How do you feel if Conte, let's say, stays in Napoli and then they stick with Tudor?
I'm gonna support Tudor. I'm gonna say Conte, fuck you, and don't wanna see you anymore. I'll give you.
No, but how do you feel about Tudor if he stays? Like in terms of
I don't have full trust in Tudor. He hasn't proved me. Well, he hasn't proved me wrong, because he made us. He accomplished what he was brought in to do it, because we got the Champions League spot. Okay, but I have so many question marks on how he managed the team, how he managed the game, that I have more question mark than like safe point on him, honestly. So I'm not sold on him, honestly. Giuntoli, I've told you, he's the biggest disappointment in the last 3 or 4 years.
So would you change him with who?
Probably changing right now is almost impossible. Changing right now is probably they're gonna reduce his power, because probably a lot of his power, a lot of his responsibility they're gonna move to Chiellini probably. I don't know if they're gonna bring Tognozzi, they're gonna bring Massara, he's gonna bring another one, but definitely he hasn't delivered what he was supposed to deliver in the last when he was brought to the team. Edo?
About that point you said about maybe giving him reduced power, reduced responsibilities.
Yeah, but I
think that's a recipe for disaster, because once you give someone power, taking it away and keeping him in the organization and say, okay, we're gonna put someone next to you because I don't think you're. I don't. That's no.
No, I'm sorry, but I had to disagree. I had to agree with you again. So I'm so used to saying disagree. I even say disagree when I agree. So
it happened with the guy we all know with Juventus that left this year. That was Canadian, Matteo and Giulio. That's exactly what happened. Reduction of power, exits on his own. So
of course,
it is a recipe for disaster with this organization. Can I make a couple of points?
Yep, go ahead. And
very quick outside of this. So I want to congratulate Edo and Ross Sagami, who is a Boston. Edo is going to be moving out of Hollywood. Who leaves Hollywood? I don't know. He leaves Hollywood. He's going to be going to Boston. And I'm very happy and proud and honored with these two gentlemen above Giulio and Matteo for really spearheading this and wanting to grow this North American group. And Edo is going to be responsible for the revival of Boston. Thank you, Edo, for taking on the challenge. I applaud you and Ross. Thank you so much for being patient with me. Obviously, during my my own trials and going to Italy, coming back, and having my own personal circumstances to deal with. So I want to thank you for taking that responsibility. Matteo and Giulio, I can't say enough. You guys are always available to and disponibile to help and move and be so amazingly supportive with the growth of Juventus and thing. You guys should be applauded. Hollywood is absolutely 100% privileged and fortunate to have both of you as leaders for Juventus, and I consider you guys absolutely there's no separation. Titles mean nothing to me. Status means nothing. You are equals, everyone, including Raffaele. This is a beautiful thing that we're creating, and kudos goes out to all of you for doing an absolutely amazing job and doing this. So thank you very, very
No,
much.
thank you, John. Honestly,
Okay.
Thank you, John. It takes a village,
Thank you, John.
and we need to say that also how much John. I don't know how it does it. How much time, effort, patience, most of all, he puts into this. Because yes, we do what we do in our fan clubs, but like he coordinates everything in North America, and I think I would have lost my mind already if I were him. So thank you for staying sane.
All they did was go in the hospital a couple of weeks ago. But with that falling,
You did.
who's watching, join your fan clubs. What's going to happen this year in the United States and in Canada, you guys should not be missing it. I'll spill the beans right off at the top. There's going to be Juventus Village in Toronto, June the 11th. 2 legends will be in place. Join the fan club, whether you're in Windsor, Ottawa, wherever, Vancouver, you want to fly over with Pietro and bring him over with you, do it, or with Donato in Montreal. There's going to be a village in Boston. Hopefully we'll have Boston ready and raring to go. We're going to have a few other events in New York. So contact Raffaele, contact Marcella, contact Antonino to get involved and be a member of the club. This is going to be so much fun. Philly, Washington, Orlando. In Philly and Washington, you don't have to worry about SPF. In Orlando, please bring an umbrella and maybe a covering in there, because you will burn at 3 p.m. in the afternoon in Orlando at the stadium. So I just want to tell you guys that it's been an absolute exciting time to be a Juventus fan in North America. And one last thing, I hope this gets blasted everywhere. I've said this in meetings with Giulio and Raffaele and Matteo, and hopefully Edo, you'll hear my spiel. I am privileged to be associated with absolutely the smartest, most experienced group of presidents. I don't think there's anywhere else in the world that Juventus has an articulation of intelligence like we do in North America. It is a dynamo team, and anybody who's out there who wants to join, just follow. Just look out for all these clubs, what we do, watch parties, events, stuff. It's unbelievable. And come and join us this year at the Club World Cup, and you will see why Giulio's the model. But the model won't be around.
I can't make it.
He can't make it. Come out.
Join
us. But always, Forza Juve, Forza North America. You guys are a blessing, and it's an honor always to be associated with you, gentlemen.
Bye, guys. Thank you,
Forza
John.
Juve fino alla fine. Grazie, John.
Bye, guys.
Always aim high. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.